What if the man who murdered your daughter walked free, smiling as if nothing happened? Most people would beg the justice system to work harder. But one father, he didn't beg, he waited. For 12 years he hunted, planned, and stalked the man who tore his life apart until the day he finally caught him and did the unthinkable. Stay with us as we uncover the shocking truth so you don't miss any part of the story. Her name was Emily Carter. She was just 16 years old, a bright and gentle soul with dreams bigger than her small town. Emily wanted to become a doctor. She spent her evenings tutoring younger kids, volunteering at the local shelter, and filling her room with medical textbooks and handwritten notes. Her friends described her as the heart of their group. Her teachers said she was destined for greatness. And to her father, Thomas Carter, she wasn't just a daughter, she was his world. Every night, Thomas would check on her before bed, tucking her in like she was still a little girl. He believed Emily was safe, protected, that nothing bad could ever happen in their quiet neighborhood. But that illusion shattered one autumn night. Emily had stayed late at the library, cramming for an exam. She called her father to let him know she'd be walking home. It was just a few blocks, well lit, nothing unusual. But she never made it back. Somewhere along the route, a man was waiting. A man with a history of violence, a predator the system had already failed to stop. Witnesses later recalled seeing Emily followed. They remembered a scream cutting through the night. Minutes later, silence. By the time police arrived, Thomas was already there, sprinting through flashing red and blue lights, only to be stopped by officers. Behind the yellow tape, his daughter lay lifeless. A white sheet covered what was once his future, his joy, his reason for living. Thomas collapsed. That night he buried part of himself. The investigation pointed to a suspect, a man named Richard Hale, already known to authorities. He had prior arrests for assault, intimidation, and worse. The community expected justice. They expected Emily's killer to be locked away forever. But the trial was a circus. Evidence went missing. Witnesses were intimidated. The defense attorney painted Richard as a victim of circumstance. And when the verdict came back, Thomas couldn't believe it. Not guilty. Richard Hale smirked as he left the courtroom, a free man. Thomas, on the other hand, was left staring into the abyss. The system had failed him, failed Emily, failed every parent who believed justice would prevail. That day, Thomas made a silent vow. If the law won't punish him, I will. Years passed, but Thomas Carter's pain did not fade. He became obsessed. By day, he worked, held himself together, tried to function. By night, he dug deeper. He collected files, studied maps, and followed rumors. Every time Richard Hale moved, Thomas found out. His friends begged him to let go. His family said the grief was destroying him. But Thomas wasn't just grieving, he was preparing. For 12 years he waited. He let his hatred sharpen into patience. He taught himself how to follow unnoticed, how to stay hidden, how to survive with one purpose only. Thomas aged, yes, but his mission did not. His life narrowed down to one goal: to look into the eyes of the man who killed his daughter and end him. It was in a dusty border town, far from where Emily had lived or died, that Thomas finally saw him again. Richard Hale was older now, heavier, slower, but unmistakable. He was laughing with strangers at a bar, just another man blending into the crowd. But Thomas didn't see a man. He saw a monster wearing human skin. For days, Thomas followed him, memorizing his routines. Hale liked to drink late, walk home alone, cut through dark alleys. He thought no one cared enough to watch him anymore. He thought he was free. One night, as Hale staggered into a narrow alley, Thomas struck. The confrontation was swift, fueled by 12 years of bottled rage. Hale begged, pleaded, swore he had changed. But Thomas didn't hear words. He heard his daughter's screams from that night. And then justice. Brutal. Final. But here's what no one expected. Thomas didn't run. He didn't try to hide, didn't try to escape. Instead, he walked into the nearest police station, his hand still stained red, and said the words officers would never forget. "I did what you wouldn't. Arrest me." The room went silent. For once, there was no smirk, no smug criminal walking free. There was only a broken father and a dead predator. When the trial began, the courtroom buzzed with debate. Was Thomas Carter a murderer or a father who delivered the justice the system denied him? Prosecutors painted him as dangerous, claiming no one could take the law into their own hands. But the defense argued something deeper, that Thomas Carter was a man driven to the edge by the system's failure. Parents sat in the audience, clutching their children's hands tighter. They asked themselves the same question: what would I have done if it were my daughter?
The jury deliberated for hours. When they returned, they couldn't look Thomas in the eyes. Some say the verdict didn't matter. Some say, guilty or not, Thomas Carter had already won. Because for the first time in 12 years, he looked at a courtroom and didn't see injustice. He saw closure. Emily's killer was gone. Her father had kept his promise. Now I want to ask you, if it were your child, would you have done the same? Tell me in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, because more shocking cases like this one are coming.